Hello everyone. So in this second lecture we will be talking about Burp Suite and how Burp Suite works and how to configure Burp Suite with the Firefox browser. So let's start. So what we will be doing is we will be learning about Burp Suite. So let's first look after the Burp Suite installation. So people who are already working with Kali, they will have Burp Suite installed within their system by default. What they need to do is they can just open their programs, they can search Burp Suite and they can open Burp Suite. The second method is you can open up your terminal. You can go open up your terminal, you just type in Burp Suite and you will be able to access Burp Suite. So people who are working with Ubuntu, they need to install this. So how to install this? You just go to portsfigure.net/burp. So when you open this website, that is portsfigure.net/burp, you will get access to the community edition. So you can just go to community edition, you can click on community edition and then you can download the community version. Professional and enterprise versions are paid, and you can if you wish you can buy that. So just download the latest version. When you download the latest version, open up your terminal, go to that file where go to the directory where your actual downloaded file is there. Let's suppose it is in downloads folder. So you go to downloads folder. What you type in is you type in sudo bash dot slash and the file name. When you click enter, so this is not present, so when you click enter you will see that the Burp Suite is getting installed, and then you can just easily go to programs and access that. Okay, so let's now, I guess everyone has installed. If you have not installed, just pause the video, install Burp Suite and then move forward. So now let's suppose we all have installed Burp Suite. So this is how Burp Suite looks like. So this is a professional version. So let's look after how we can deal with things in the professional edition and other stuffs. So there are a few things which are limited to only professional edition, and I will be teaching using professional edition because there are certain limitations with community edition, so I won't be going with that. So in this you see a target tab. So in the target tab what you need to do is, okay, so sorry for the interruption. Okay, so we were discussing about the target tab. So in target tab we can see an option that is sitemap. So what sitemap is? So in sitemap we can see all the sites we have visited, like all the sites to whom each and every request has been sent from my browser directly or indirectly is being shown here. So my actual request was sent to google.com, which is highlighted. So what I can do is I can just right click on it and I can say add to scope. So what this means, when I say add to scope, so it will only intercept this domain. The Burp Suite will only intercept this domain. And the same thing we can say in this scope tab, where you can see that this domain google.com has been enabled and there is no other domain. We have other option where we can just click on this filter tab and we can click on show only in scope items, and then everyone will disappear and just google.com will be there. So now let's discuss about this contents. So what in this contents tab, what we can see is we can see the actual host, that is google.com, the methods get or post or delete, whatever the method is, the actual URL to which the request has been sent, the parameters. So what this parameters is the parameters which we can modify to get some different response from the server. So let's suppose when I'm searching for a book on google.com, so the book is a parameter which we can modify using our Burp Suite. So these kinds of parameters you can see with a checkbox. When you see a tick, you understand that there is a parameter in the domain. Then we can see the status code, that is 304, which is for redirection. 200, 200, 204, these are for successful requests and responses. The length is the actual length of the HTML code, and MIME type is what the actual file type which was requested, maybe HTML, script, JSON, or whatever. And the title to the page. So this is the basic things, and when we click on any of these requests in the contents, we get to see the request, the response, and the raw data which is available with this. We can just click on different domains and subdomains, and we can see the requests, the get parameter, the HTTP and its versions, the actual host, the user agent, which is my browser Mozilla 5.0, and I am using Linux x86 16 version 64-bit processor. And there are different things: who is the referrer, it should accept encoding or not, connection type close, what is the cookie, the session ID, and other details. I can see the hexadecimal encoding of these requests and responses, the headers, and the parameters. Okay, now let's move to this thing. This is issues. So this shows the issue, the potential issues which can be available with the domain. This is not the final thing, but this can be just a lead that yes, there has been some issue with this subdomain or the URL we are just clicking on. We just selected, we can see the potential issues and the details of the issues, the severity, the confidence, and the host we can see here. Now let's move to proxy. The proxy tab is when we turn the intercept on, it will intercept every request sent through the browser. So when we open something using our browser, let's see, so we just refresh this. So this page will not load until I forward the request or I turn the intercept on. So as I have already shown you, like there are a number of requests which are sent to the server to load a simple web page. So this is the actual requests which go. When I forward this request, I get a different request. I forward, and I can see different requests and responses. So this is the final website we just opened. This is the active URL, and this is the complete data packet which is being sent. So I can turn the intercept on, and you can see the website will be loaded. And this, okay, so now you can see the website has fully loaded when I turn the intercept on. So what we understood is, what we can do is we can see every other details. We can forward the request, we can drop the request, we can turn the intercept on and off. There are other options available with proxy, that like HTTP history. So HTTP history will show you every website that you have visited in the past. The same is with the WebSocket history. If you have visited any WebSocket histories, it will show up here. In the options tab, you can see where is the proxy listener. So in the proxy listener, the IP address and the port number is something where the burpsuit, the proxy server, listens on. So I missed a point, that is burpsuit is an application layer proxy. So we know that proxies generally run at network layer. So when we can interact with the proxy directly, it is generally application layer. So burpsuit is an application layer proxy, and by default it listens on this IP and this port. So we can import and generate certificates, and there are many other options, enormous other options you can set up, but let's not discuss everything. It will take like many hours if you want to just discuss these things. Now what Spider does is, Spider just crawls every domain or the subdomain that is with the website. When I just go to my target tab, I just click on this and say Spider this host, I will see that it started spidering. There are the bytes transferred, the requests, the number of requests made, the number of requests queued, and everything. So let's pause this for a bit, and now let's discuss other options. There are other options which is available with this. We can just customize everything according to our needs. So customization means, let's suppose you have a field called email ID or first name or last name. So what you want to fill in it by default, you can just modify. Let's suppose you are pen testing on e-commerce websites, and you are not just doing it for a black box testing. You have a username and a password through which you are allowed to test on a website. So you can just enter the email ID here, your name here, your password here, and it will automatically log in, and then also crawl every other domains which are available after logging in. For example, let's suppose accounts page or your order history page, it is not available to you until and unless you log in. So when you enter these details and you log in, this will the Bubsuit will be able to crawl every other page which is available even after logging in. Then there is scanner, so every domain that I have visited, it can show the issues found, the domain, the path, and the severity and the confidence. I can see the details of these things, and there are enormous options. Let's not discuss everything. I can just modify every details. I can scan the cues, I can just issue definitions, I can change, modify, I can read it here to understand everything better. And there are again options where I can just modify everything. Intruder. So what an intruder does is, intruders allows you to attack targets. Let's suppose you want to brute force or you want to bypass a login page. So what you need to do is you can just type in some email ID and type in a password. So you cannot do it manually every time. So what you can do is you can select your target, you can go to positions, you can select positions, you can clear positions, you can just select positions by clicking on add, and you will be able to add and load payloads. You can just load a text file which may have the potential or probable password lists, and then you can just start attack and you can just see the response. Like if there is any response from the server or the password was successfully accepted or rejected, you can see everything. And then again there are the options like number of threads, number of milliseconds pause for every retry, and other options like how we want to proceed with the attack. Then we have repeater. So this is one of the most important tools. So let's go to target and send one request to the repeater. I send this request to the repeater, and then I will be able to see the response from the server in real time without even opening my browser. So let's forward this request, and when I forward this request I will see the actual response from the web server. This is the actual response from the web server. I can see the headers, I can see the contents, I can see the hexadecimal thing, I can see the HTML file, and I can, when I click on render, I can see the actual website. So this is how the website looks. Then we have sequencer. We can sequence and we can just do other things. We can modify those things. We have decoder. Decoder can be used to decode things to HTML base 64, ASCII, hex, octal, and binary. We use these things to encode or decode something. Let's suppose I have a number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, that is 1 2 3 4 7, and I want to encode it to HTML. So this is the HTML encoding of this number. Then there is a comparer. You just select two items, just go to target, send this to comparer, and then select something else, send it to comparer again, and in the comparer tab you will be able to see what are the difference between these things. Just remove one thing and we can compare these things. So in this thing we can add different requests and just we can compare them. It will show what are the differences between their headers, their responses, their requests. This is extender. In extender what you can do is you can add your customized extensions and plugins. So you can just write on your own JavaScript or the actual Java program which can work with burp extensions. So I had installed one burp extension called Trishul from GitHub. It has been made by someone, I forgot the name. You can just use it. It is very useful. It will just help you identify cross-site scripting and SQL injections. Then we have project options, how we can work with the projects. Then there are user options, and then we have alerts. Okay, so now this is the basics of Burp Suite. So how Burp Suite works, how different tabs can be used, and other stuffs. So this will be the ending of this second video lecture. Thank you so much for attending.